Hello and welcome to Slipstream International Racing Continental Cup Round 3 at Zolder. We're in for a great night of racing. There's been a bit of rain on the server, so it's going to make things a little interesting if we get a bit of the weather in there. We have a 25-minute qualifying session followed by a 1-hour race with some very quick drivers in the lobby with us tonight. On board currently with German Riano, who has just unfortunately gone off and bumped the wall at the first chicane. Very difficult corner, that one. So we jump on board here with Rob Chandler, currently in first position with a 29.7. Currently 2/10 up on his delta, coming through the first chicane. Loses a little bit as he comes down towards the second chicane here. Easy to get track limits here and invalidate your lap times, especially in qualifying. So very tricky track is Zolder. Very difficult to extract pace out of it, but we'll see how they go. As we see, Kurt Moss crosses the line, does a 29.0, so goes 7/10 quicker than Chandler at this point in time. So, El Cedar has come across the line, has taken P2 from Chandler, 3/10 off of Kurt Moss's time and the Aston. If there is a bit of rain tonight, I reckon the Aston's going to be a very strong choice. Porsche's looking fairly strong here as well, but can't go past the Ferraris. A lot of Ferraris on the grid, as you can see. P3 through P6, all Ferraris at this point in time. We've got a couple more rounding out the back of the field as well. So we'll see what Lucas Sider can do here on his second run in qualifying. Track is still fast, so we'll see these drivers improving. With 18 of them going around the track, that's certainly going to change to optimum towards the end of the session. That's when we'll see the really quick laps come in. As Kurt Moss improves again to a 28.9. And Jay Diaz comes across the line to take P2 and is already 3/10 up on his lap. So track definitely improving at this point in time. Holds it round the next corner here. Awesome livery, by the way. The Ben's WEC livery on the Porsche. Sucker for that livery. And Porter comes across the line in the 44 McLaren, just under a 10th off of Kurt Moss, so a 29.037. Currently, so we've got Joe Blist here, 8/10 up on his lap, almost just coming across the line. Now that is going to put him up into, doesn't improve his position at all actually, so possibly invalid. Yes, it was an invalid lap time. Okay, Kurt Moss 5/10 up at this point in time. Comes across the line, loses a little bit on the exit there, still going to put himself up, well, further into pole at this point in time. 4.5 clear of Porter behind, but Porter is 3 and a bit tenths up at this point in time, coming into the hairpin. Bit of traffic ahead, could hold him up here. Oh wow, big gains into the hairpin, loses a touch on exit. Still, this is going to be very close to pole. Well, provisional pole at this point in time if you can get a good last chicane here. 5/10 up coming into the left-hander. Loses a touch on exit just like Moss did. It's just not going to be enough, I don't think. Comes across the line. Less than 0.5 separates them at this point. That is crazy. Fastest sector 1 there for Porter. So see Mercedes just trying to get out of the way, possibly there. I think he just returned to garage. Gallimini, 2 tenths up on his time. That is going to push him all the way up into P4 if he can hold it. Coming to the first chicane here, probably the hardest corners on the track. As you can see there, a bit of a bounce and it ruins all your time, but it doesn't. It doesn't for Gallimini. 4 tenths up coming into the second chicane here. He can put himself up into the top 3 with this lap time if he can hold it together. Definitely the biggest gainer on track at this point in time. Big gains into the hairpin. Loses quite a bit on exit though. Must have gone a little deep there. So see him come across the line here. Oops. Loses a little bit on exit out of the final corner. Still going to be 5 tenths up. That is going to be good enough for P3 at this point in time. Track definitely seems to be improving lap on lap. Nice sunny conditions. Going to be 18 cars, sorry, at this point in time. Laying down the rubber. As we can see, track still fast, 29 degrees. So a nice warm track. Not too extreme, so we'll see some quick lap times, I think, towards the end here. Kurt Moss, or actually Chandler, 3 tenths up on his best at this point in time. Coming into the first chicane, so a lot of time in that first sector for Chandler. A bit of a bad bounce through the second part of the first chicane there. Loses about half a tenth on exit there. Coming into the second chicane here, let's see what we can do. Oh, very tentative there. Loses basically all of his gains through the second chicane there. Currently sitting about 5 tenths off pole at this point in time. So we'll see what he can do into this final sector here. A little bit of a gain as the hairpin, then just loses it all on exit. It's one of those corners. Delta gets the best of you. Into the final corner here. Can't improve. Oh. Unfortunately, here we have Cedar. 3 tenths up on his best. He is currently 3.3 tenths off of pole. So if he can put this lap together, he's going to pip Kurt Moss. And it's going to be very close up the top. So see what he can do through the hairpin. Goes deep. Might still be able to... No. Oh, he's still an improvement. 2.5 tenths up. We'll see what we can do it to the final chicane, but he knows he's got time in the hairpin. That's always a good sign. Keeps it. He's actually improving. It's going to be very, very close. Wow. Takes P2 by 1/100th of a second. And he's definitely got at least 2 tenths, I reckon, through the hairpins. So look out for Cedar in the 98 Porsche. We've got contender for pole position, I reckon. About halfway through qualifying at this point in time. Track has just switched over to optimum. So I reckon all the drivers will be jumping back into the pits, giving themselves another 15 litres, new set of tyres, and jumping back out for the next run. Chandler again up on his time. This time through the final chicane, loses it all on exit. Just bogs down on the exit there. He's running incredibly high TC, 9 TC1 on the Ferrari. 10.5 through the first corner, but loses a little bit on exit. See what he can do in this lap. Oh wow, 4 tenths through the turn 3 there. So we'll see how he goes over the first chicane. That seems to be his Achilles heel at the moment, just getting that weird bounce as he goes over the right-hander. A little bit of lag there, but it's actually improving through, so it was a really good first chicane for Rob Chandler here. Hasn't improved from before, so still just over 5/10 off the pace. We'll see what he can do. Oh, it gets a little bit sideways there. The traffic ahead of him not helping him out there. Still going to be a slight improvement. Hopefully he can improve in the hairpin here. Time is ticking down. Moss still holds P1. Well, provisional pole at this point in time. Only by a bit. Cedar just actually leaves the pit just then for his next run. Keep a keen eye on him. It's going to be a slight improvement, I reckon, for Chandler here, but nowhere near enough. He'll barely get up into 4th with this lap time. And Diaz pips him anyway, so he drops down immediately back down to P5. Sorella is currently 2/10 up, and Stevens 3.5 up. Coming out of the first sector. Just exiting the first sector into the first chicane here. Let's see what he can do. Currently 1.1 seconds off the pace. Decent first chicane there. Loses a touch on exit, but like nothing to be worried about. Barely a 10th there. Oh, great exit. Gains a 10th and gaining through the double right-hander. 6.5 into the final corner. This would put him just behind Chandler and Gallimini at this point in time. So he's going to jump up, maybe possibly even into the top 5 with this lap time. Hopefully there's some more time for him in the final chicane. Goes a touch deep and loses a little bit on exit. Still going to be good enough for P6, I reckon. Possibly P7. There it is, P7 with a 29.1. Porter, just over a 10th up. Oh, he's on an invalid lap, unfortunately. Nobody really improving. T. Murphy here, 8/10 up on his lap. Again, unfortunately invalid. A 130.5 would have put him only up into P15, unfortunately. M. Porter goes across the line and takes pole by 2/10. So 28.3, currently the time to beat. We'll see if Moss can respond to that. Cedar and Moss, neither one has improved as of yet. I think this might be a visual bug here, as it was for Porter, that Cedar's on an invalid lap, so we'll see. Currently a 10th up. He needs 2.3 tenths to take provisional pole away from Porter. Rogers 3/10 up, and Merlino 5/10 up. 1.8. This could put him up almost into the top 10. If there's a little bit more time through that last sector. Oh, it goes a bit deep at the hairpin. He's going to lose it a little bit on exit. No, he must have had a bad run the last lap on his best lap, so he gains time coming out of the hairpin. 6.5 up into the final chicane. Loses a little bit on entry. Oh, and a little sluggish out. He's going to lose time across the line. 3/10 improvement is going to put him into P12. Yep. As Cedar improves again. 28.1 now, the time to beat. And he's got a slight improvement as well coming through turn 3. And now 4 coming into the first chicane. We've got Maikanen, 7.5 up. Again, I reckon this might actually be an invalid lap, unfortunately, as the timing does seem right. He's gone deep there, and yeah, gets back on track. He'll go for another run, I reckon, but definitely has top 3 pace, I reckon. It was over 7/10 up, and there's only 9/10 off the pace at this point in time. M. Porter on a big improvement here. 3.5 up. This is gonna pip Cedar by near enough 2/10 if he can hold it. Loses a little bit. See what he can do. Good hairpin, loses a touch on exit. Oh, it's going to be very tight. If he gets a good final chicane here, actually gains time, is continuing to gain time. Good exit. It's going to take Polk here by about 2/10. That's a very good lap from Porter. And across the line takes pole. The first 27 of the night. Very fast lap time. We'll see if Cedar and Moss in P2 and 3 can have a can have an answer for Porter here, but at this point in time, we'll see. So Moss currently just up on his lap time at this point in time, coming into the final chicane here. So unless there's a ridiculous amount of time, almost 6/10, well over 6/10 actually, in this final corner, does find 2. Still not going to be enough. It's not going to move him anywhere. Might help him hold position against Diaz behind. So we see Porter here is actually 3/10 up again. So he's on for a 27.6 here. That is a very, very quick lap time. With just under 5 minutes left of qualifying. We'll stay on board with Porter, but we do have another couple drivers throughout the field just improving on their times. Oh, loses it all in the final chicane. Still going to be an improvement, but not the 27.6 like he knows he can. Chandler, currently just over a 10th. Well, lost a little bit of time there, but yeah, he's lost all of the advantage he had, but he was a 10th up coming into that final, well, into that first chicane. Got Molino here, 3/10 up. That would put him just on the brink of the top 5, if not into it, if he can hold this. Loses a little bit of time through that first chicane. Awful corner, the first chicane. It really is an RNG corner. You sort of just got to like send it and pray and hope you just don't get a bad bounce. 5/10 up coming out the second chicane. It's going to be a very good lap time if we can hold it together. Molino and the 999 Ferrari. Again, not a whole lot. Only driver on the board at this point in time that is improving and continues to improve. Good exit from the hairpin there. Barely loses half a 10th before the final chicane. Oh, it goes a touch deep. He's going to lose a little bit on exit here. Oh, wow. That's heartbreaking. That's barely going to push. That's not going to push him up anywhere. Just going to be a slight improvement on his time. And goes wide at the first corner. So we'll see what he can do. Cedar on a slight improvement here. Again, unfortunately due to the visual bug, I'm not 100% sure if he's actually on a valid lap or not. It'd be pretty difficult to invalidate in the first sector though before the chicane, especially for a quali run. And continuing on. Nice through the second chicane there. Ease off through the first right-hander. Flat through the second right-hander. Gains time there. Currently about 2.5 up as he comes into the hairpin. Slam down the brakes. Bang it down through the gears. Good exit. Very good exit across the line. Currently a smidge over 3/10 off pole. So this could be the pole lap here for El Cedar. Oh, loses a lot in the chicane. Loses everything in the final chicane. So he's gonna have to settle for P2 at this point in time. He's probably got 2 laps left if he's got the fuel for it. Kurt Moss does a mild improvement. Does improve about a 10th. Currently still half a 10th up on his time. Jay Diaz, 3.5 up on his time. And the Ben Porsche. Oh, he's going to lose a little bit. It's going to be about 3/10 across the line. We'll put him up. Nope, unfortunately it was an invalid lap. That one there. Porter also improves by about half a tenth. 27.845 now the time to beat. Markkanen loses all of the time, unfortunately. Yeah, don't think he's going to gain that back, unfortunately. Oh, there's a bit of time on the exit of the final chicane, but no, he's going to lose it all on the exit. Alright, well, we started the last laps of these drivers for this qualifying session. Porter, 3.4 tenths out in front. I don't think anybody has an answer for him, unfortunately. Do have Diaz here, currently 8 tenths off the pace. Loses everything through that second chicane as the banner goes flying. Punts it out the way. Yeah, Moss into the pits, Porter into the pits. So I think Porter's pretty safe here. Unless Cedar was just about 2 tenths up on his lap, and he's only through the third and fourth corner here. So we'll see what he can do. A couple of the other guys popping into the pits, a couple of yellow flags around the track, so I reckon they've just pulled over and he's going to RTG. Jay Diaz comes across the line for his final run, 8 and a bit tenths off the pace. P4 for him. We'll see what Cedar can do. The only really one left that can pit Porter of pole at this point in time. He's definitely got the pace. He's just struggling to put a lap together. As I say that, still two tenths up at this point in time. He just needs a tenth and a half in this final 3 corners. Very nice hairpin. He needs a tenth in this last corner. I think this is going to be very, very close. Nice on the first apex. Nice on the second apex. Oh, wow, this is going to be incredibly close. Wow, 7 thousandths off pole. 7 thousandths. That's a very, very quick lap time. Very, very close up the top as well. I reckon these guys are going to go toe-to-toe for the hour race. So we have Porter from Cedar, from Moss, from Diaz, from Chandler, from Gallimini, from Rogers, from Stevens, from Nikkanen, and Molino rounds out the top 10 in qualifying. There was a little bit, as I was saying before, there was a little bit of rain in the practice session earlier just before qualifying. So we'll see if weather plays a little role as it ticks over to the race session. So race session is the next day on Sunday. So conditions could change for the better or for the worse. Zolder, not the most fun track in the wet, as I found out. Not the most fun track in the dry either. Alright, there we are. So looking at the weather widget, slight cloud, but sunny for the next 15 minutes. Track temperature 22, air and track is 30 with an optimum track, so perfect conditions. Perfect conditions for just some good racing. So we just wait for the session to tick down. So drivers getting the setups ready. Most likely going to be one mandatory pit stop tonight. So there's 2 different strategies. So what we could do tonight is pit about halfway. So put in about, I reckon these guys are going to be using near enough 100 litres for this race, for an hour race. So you can chuck in about 50, pit for tyres and fuel halfway. Or you can go for possibly the bolder, but possibly riskier strategy. Which is fuel for majority of the race, and then just come in for fuel. You'll gain about 20 seconds on the guys that change tyres, but obviously you're going to have to do it on one set, so the tyres are going to start degrading quite a bit towards the end. Zolder, not the most punishing track on tyres. It's more the slow punctures you've got to look out for. as the drivers peel away for their formation lap. So we'll see which drivers do what strategy tonight. But if it was me in the car, I'd probably put about 75% of the fuel that I need, so about 75 litres in, and I'd go on a single set. I don't think the guys that would change tyres are going to be that much quicker to gain that time back, but with a mistake or two on the old tyres, and if you're not kind to them and grain them faster, it might be the strategy. It's risk for reward. So the drivers will be lining up double file, I reckon, just after the hairpin here, getting ready for the race start. Yeah. So form up just before this final chicane here. All the drivers going to be bunching up. We'll see who gets the jump off the start. All the cars up the front, very good on the start. Look at the armada of Ferraris there from P5 down. There's 6 of them all in a little gaggle there. As we come across the main straight here, and it is lights out and away we go. Porter getting a good start and has the inside for the first corner. Cedar's going to come wide. He's going to fight around the outside. He might just hold it here. No, just a little bit too far back. Moss gets very close to the back of Cedar. Diaz just hanging back. Going to pick up the pieces if anything happens between these first guys. We do have a yellow flag at the back of the field. There's the number 31 of TK. Let's have a look what happened there. Looks all pretty good here. Space given a little bit of a bump and a bit of concertina effect there, and the McLaren just gets bumped and bumps TK there. That's quite unfortunate for him. And he spins on the rejoin as well. That's the worst feeling. He's gonna be a fair way back on the field for now. Back to live pictures where Porter, Cedar, and Moss and Diaz. Nothing's really changed here. McLaren has pulled away a touch. These top 4 have pulled away from Chandler here in P5. 1.9 seconds the gap already. So these guys are absolutely flying. I think this is going to be a nice little gaggle of cars for the race. Bit of a move here from Molino. Drops back a couple of places, possibly went deep into the chicane. Oh, getting very close to the rear bar of Nikkonen in front. Porter with the fastest lap, but it's not really representative. 32.2 at this point in time, 3/10 quicker than Cedar behind. Diaz has lost the back of the guys in front, 1.2 seconds the gap at this point in time. Maybe he's had a bit of a moment there. So these 3 here. Oh, Porsche with a really good run through the first corner. Could see a move here into the second chicane. Definitely, she shows the nose, thinks better of it. And as Moss goes deep on the brakes there, that could actually be a track cut, which is something the drivers have to watch out for tonight. Very strict track cuts at the old Zandvoort. And just having a look at the the weather radar, it's gone to almost fully cloud. The sun is fading away, so we could see some rain here towards the end of the race. Another yellow flag at the back, unfortunately. So the 31 seems like he's been caught up again. 46 has dropped down. That's German Riano. As Diaz is caught back up to the back of Moss again. Gap under a second now. Porter with the fastest lap at this point in time. 29 dead compared to Cedar's 29.1. So these guys are going blow for blow. Not a whole lot in it. Pulling away from Moss as well. Very close between Molino and Nikkonen. These guys have been going at it since the green flag dropped. Might see a move here if he can get a better run. Shows the nose, but thinks better of it. Not really an overtaking place is turn 4. But definitely one where you can, if you push the driver ahead, you can just get in their mirrors, force the mistake, and you just come up the inside with a better run. Taking the chicane pretty safe as well, these guys. Very clever move. No point trying to send it over the chicane. It's too risky. It's better to lose a couple tenths by just avoiding the second curb than trying to take it like a qualifying run. Cedar not really making any inroads into Porter at this point in time. Definitely maintaining that gap though. He hasn't pulled away. He hasn't really gained either. Jay Diaz just making another mistake. Oh, the 31 McLaren off again. He's not had a great night. It's only lap 3. Porter again with the fastest lap at 28.7 compared to Cedar's 28.8. So yeah, again, barely a tenth between them. So we've got Rogers here, who's actually just pulled away from Joe Webster behind. That gap was actually less than a second. Wow, the Audi's speed. Gains about 2 tenths down that first straight there. Oh, and that's a bit of a bounce. That's exactly what I was talking about. No, it's very risky taking the bounce in the race because you can just get the pogo stick on the rear axle and it just bumps you around. So that is bit of heartbreak there for Rogers. Still got 54 minutes or so to gain it all back, so it's not the end of the world, but definitely not ideal. Not ideal. Stevens and Nikkonen can't split these two at this point in time. They've actually caught back up to the back of Joab still as well. So 3 drivers just outside a second. So we'll keep an eye out on this this little gaggle as well. Porter pulling away a touch. Gap up now to almost a second over Cedar behind. Another fastest lap for Porter, barely. I think it's just, yeah, 28.8 compared to a 28.9. So still fairly close. As we see Stevens closing right up to the back of that Audi, getting very, very friendly. He's looking for a move into turn 4 here. Thinks better of it. He's not going to get the run now. This is going to invite Nikkonen. Might have a look down the inside here. No, just decides to sit behind. Backs off a little bit and closes up under braking. Audi with another great run, and it looks like the Stevens in the Ferrari behind just clips the gravel there. Just loses a bit of the drive, so the Audi lives another day and can breathe a little bit more for about 600 meters, and the Ferrari immediately closes back up under brakes. So yeah, the top 5 massively pulled away from everybody else. 6 seconds the gap between P5 and P6 as well. So Chandler in P5 just keeping check with the leading pack, and Porter has just run away at 28.2 there. With that kind of pace and these temperatures, I reckon he's going for the 50-50 strat. So he's fueled up about half the race. He's going to change tyres halfway and just go for very quick laps, because that's barely 4 tenths, sorry, off of what he was doing in qualifying. So definitely don't think he's got a full tank there. As Stevens back up to the back of the Audi again. It'll be a lap or two, I reckon, before we see a move. But Nikkonen just sitting there, just waiting to pounce if there's a mistake between these two guys. Oh, the Audi really struggling with the first chicane at the moment. Still manages to get the drive over the Ferrari though, despite the pogo sticking. They come through the second chicane. That's borderline there for the Audi. That might have been a track cut. Very close. Can't really cut much more than those yellow sausage curbs on the left-hand side there. As it looks like the 31 has come into the pits. So TK, I reckon he's obviously got some damage from that from the pit stop earlier, and he's had a couple more spins. So I reckon he's called it. He's going to come into the pits, repair the damage, and just hope to retrieve those spots, because he will clear his mandatory stop for the race with that pit stop. The only problem is he will have to go the rest of the race on that single tyre set, and cooling down the tyres in the pits this early can cause them to grain a little bit. So as we see, nope. Just reading my timing sheet wrong there. I thought Cedar and Moss were side by side, but no, they're just both the same amount back from each other, or back from the driver ahead. There's this battle here between Stevens and the Audi of Joe still continues. So yeah, the Ferrari's bouncing a little bit there. Audi just gets a really good drive out from that first chicane, sorry. I do apologise for the crabbing. I believe this server is a different region to where I'm based. Whoa! That's Diaz? That's just dropped back, so what's happened there? Let's go back 60 seconds. So this is coming through turn 4 here, coming into the first chicane. I think I know what's happened here. I reckon he's got the pogo stick and he's just gone round coming out of the chicane. No, I stand corrected. So what's happened here? Because he was running P4 down into P10 at the moment and has jumped into the pits. Or maybe has a little bit of a kerfuffle with Moss here, because they're very, very close. Yep, just gets off. Oh, it just hits the wall. That's quite odd, and it hits the wall again. Shame he didn't, not shame, so fortunately he didn't collect anybody else. But that is heartbreak there for Diaz. Was on for a really good result if he could hang on to P4, maybe even pick up a position for a podium. But that's put him right out the running, possibly even for a top 10. Yeah, still stationary, so a lot of damage there. On the other hand though, Stevens and the Audi of Joab still just can't split these two at this point in time. Further down the field, we've also got Murphy and Molino here. So I believe that Murphy is actually in the GT2 Mercedes. So incredibly powerful in the straights, but just doesn't really have the braking performance as demonstrated there as he goes wide into the hairpin. doing quite well to not be a little bit behind the field at this point in time. A 31.3 his last lap, so not too far off the pace either. Back on board with Stevens here. He's closed the gap again. Might actually look for something here into the first chicane. Just feels the mirrors jinx left and right. Decides better of it though. The Audi's just doing just enough. As he goes round, he gets the pogo stick on the rear axle. Just takes a bit too much of that right-hander, the first chicane. Decent flick spin, but was back onto the racing line. So very fortunate there was nobody that close behind. He's going to have to let the McLaren through here as well. Raikkonen now actually gets the Audi. Oh, goes very, very deep into the hairpin. And the gravel's going to ruin his run. He's going to lose the position here to Sorella as well. Oh. It's not an easy task attacking sometimes, because one little mistake like that and you can cause yourself, or like you can lose yourself more than you would have gained. As demonstrated there by Raikkonen, unfortunately, almost had one position and now has dropped two. So we'll see how he can get back. If he can come back at these guys ahead. The gap to the top four now, actually, now that Diaz is unfortunately out of the running. 10-second the gap between P4 and 5. So this leading group is separating and just running away with it. Porter now 3 seconds ahead of Cedar and P2. And Cedar 5 seconds, almost 6 actually, ahead of Moss, who's 3 seconds ahead of Chandler. So about 15 seconds or so, actually more like 10, sorry, between these top four at this point in time. But a race like this, it's not all about outright pace. It's a lot about consistency, especially with that first chicane and the track limits here. I would not be surprised if we see a drive-through or two from some unlucky drivers that just push the track a little bit further than they should. So yeah, so Raikkonen and Sorella here, closest battle on track at this point in time. Those gaps are starting to really bulge. So we'll see what he can do here. Is slightly dropping off the back of Sorella as he goes deep into the final chicane as well. So I reckon trying to push to make up lost position. As Rogers now behind within a second. So yeah, a second quicker for Rogers behind, 29.6 compared to Raikkonen's 30.6. It looks like Porter's actually just starting to approach the first back markers here of the ill-fated TK number 31 McLaren here. So we'll see how he negotiates this. This could bring Cedar back into the equation if he catches him at a poor spot, or TK doesn't let him through as cleanly as he would have liked. As we have a yellow flag for the 909, Raikkonen just go back. However, replay, and that is not a great rejoin, unfortunately. That's Purdue. Is that Sorella, I believe? Or is that Stevens? No, sorry, that's Stevens, who's just collected him. We'll go back 30 seconds. We'll have a look at what happens here. But that's a pretty poor rejoin, unfortunately, for Raikkonen there. Yeah, average Zolder turn chicane 1 things. And rolls off the racing line and then waits a little bit, but obviously doesn't wait it long enough. Comes back onto the track, and that's, yeah, one for the steward's box is all I'll say with that one there. But Raikkonen not doing the greatest job there, nor Stevens, unfortunately, just dove the wrong way. As we see Diaz actually come through on Raikkonen there, so it just shows how much he's lost. He's going to be down into outside the top 10? No, sorry, I think. Yeah, jumps into the pit straight away, so yeah. See how that goes. Porter gets through the traffic. See how Cedar negotiates this as Stevens and Nikinen both come into the pits. Jay Diaz as well, close right up to the back of Elshin here, less than half a second almost. Yep, this one time we know Diaz has the pace. He was running P4 before his unfortunate incident. He's going to get a massive run here on the McLaren. Does he send it into the first chicane? Definitely shows the nose. He's going to focus on the exit here, I reckon, and go for something into the second chicane. Yeah, McLaren doesn't get it a great run. Oh, this is going to be quite close. He is going to go for it, and he makes contact. He just strained the wheel a bit too early there. Looked a bit odd, like he was catching some countersteer, or catching some oversteer. Sorry. And that's just, yeah, that's insult to injury there for Diaz. Unfortunately, a bit self-inflicted though. Like the McLaren gave all the space he needed. It's just Diaz self-penalising incident, that one. As the McLaren goes on scot-free with probably maybe a second or two of side damage, so it won't affect him too much. Yeah, unfortunately, nobody really close on track at this point in time. Those gaps have really ballooned out. Closest is really Sorella and Joebstel. Oh, it's one. Diaz just gets a bit sideways there coming out the final corner. As I say that, the gap between Porter and Cedar has come down over a second. So possibly Porter starting to struggle on those tyres. Because yeah, that's come down a second and a half. It was about 4 seconds, say a lap and a half ago. So we'll see. Porsche not known really for its tyre wear, but possibly could be the better runner here. Or Cedar's just better on his tyres than Porter. Yeah, 29.8 there for Porter that last lap compared to Cedar's 28.7. So definitely a mistake or something for Porter. Okay, I'm just stabilising. Oh, Sorella. Within a second now of Joebstel, sorry. In front, so let's come down about 8/10 that last lap. Yeah, just under a second quicker. The last lap was Sorella, so we'll see what he can do to attack Joebstel, who's not the quickest driver on track, but he's just been consistent. You know, just held his position, hasn't made any really big mistakes. He's had a couple bouncy moments over the chicane, but yeah, nothing too major. So yeah, again, that gap is halved in the last couple corners. So we'll see how Sorella goes about attacking the Audi here. Oh, a little bit of a bounce over the first part in the air, a little bit of sideways action there. Coming out the final corner, so that gap is going to open back up, and he's got Rogers who's actually closed the gap behind. So Sorella not in an awesome position at this point in time. He sort of like obviously wants to attack the Audi ahead, but has to defend because he keeps on making mistakes when he's trying to attack. Sorry. Wow, that gap's really opened up now. So Sorella was 3/10 off of the Audi ahead. Now is just under 2 seconds. So must be really struggling for pace at this point in time. And he now has Rogers for company as well behind, so we'll see how this goes. So yeah, so not a whole lot happening on track at this point in time. It's really just these three that are the closest. Diaz catching back up to the back of Stevens actually, as I say that. So we'll see if he can make this pass clean. Team Murphy into the pits as well, so that's the 888 Mercedes. We'll see where he pops out. Probably P11. I can't imagine he'd lose 56 seconds and 23 seconds. So over a minute in the pits, but never know, could have some damage to repair or whatnot. I think Joe Epstein just had a bit of an incident there. He just dropped back a couple positions. I'm not sure I've gone back far enough there, unfortunately. So, I don't think we're going to see what happened there. But yeah, he's dropped behind Sorella and Rogers. I don't think they both overtook him that quickly. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think I've missed that. So we see Stevens here actually catching up to the back of Nikkonen. And we've got Diaz behind Stevens as well. So, a little gaggle forming here. So yeah, that gap's not really changing a whole lot. Stevens catching a touch on Nikkonen, but Diaz just staying about a second behind. Hasn't really made any inroads at this point on Stevens ahead. Just jump away from this here. So Rogers and Sorella pretty close here as well. So it looked like Rogers dropped off the back of Sorella because he was fairly close earlier. And now going in for a second dig. Possibly if he can continue to gain. Was 5/10 slower on that last lap than Sorella. So we'll see as they come across the line. 31 dead compared to a 30.4. So he's actually gained 6/10 on Sorella. So these guys are trading lap times by the looks of it. Somebody goes about 5/10 quicker, and then the other guy goes 5/10 quicker. So yeah, Stevens 3/10 behind, behind Nikkonen ahead. These guys making huge inroads into Murphy, who's actually just pitted again. So I'm not sure what's happened there, unless he forgot to change tyres or forgot to add fuel. Not 100% sure what's happened there, but that's unfortunate. Got a yellow flag for the 21. Is that Diaz again? Let's have a look and see what happened there. Oh, I've not gone back far enough, but that's an odd one. I'm not sure how he's ended up there. We might go back 30 seconds. Alright, let's have a look what's happened here. Seems to be alright on the first curb. Just gets a bounce on the second, and then the Porsche snap. Yep. Seemed like a pretty light hit. I think he might have returned to garage there. And yep, Diaz has called it, unfortunately. He's thrown in the towel. Wasn't happy with his performance tonight, so has decided to call it. And Murphy, the 888 AMG with a stop and go 30. Oh, that's what he was serving in the while he was pitting again. Okay, unfortunately I didn't catch that. But yes, that makes sense. Don't wanna leave that one too long, otherwise you will get disqualified if you don't serve it in time. The gap for the lead has opened back up to almost 4 seconds again. So Porter putting the hammer down once again, as we see how the first of our pitters. I think Rogers here for his first scheduled pit stop. So we'll stay on board here and we'll see if he's going to change tyres. Looked like it wasn't the greatest pit stop there. Might have got moved a touch as Molino comes in as well and Radecki as well in the number 1 Mustang. So yeah, this is definitely not a fuel stop for these guys. Well, at least Wayne Rogers here is changing tyres. We'll see where he comes out in regards to the other guys as well. Wow, this is a very long pit stop. He might be fixing some damage as well that he's picked up along the way. Looks like the car got dropped there, and he is away. And Chandler jumps into the pits as well, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. I don't think it's still going to be in front of Rogers, so he's not going to lose too much. Sorella goes through. Is this a... So we've got Di Donato and Molino here, separated by 0.7 of a second at this point in time. Sorry, that is Radecki, I stand corrected. He has actually overtaken Molino. So we'll see how this goes. The Mustang, especially without BOP, incredibly strong around this track. It just eats the chicane for breakfast, just like the Mercedes. So it'll be interesting to see where he makes the time up as he goes deep into the second chicane. Hopefully he's lost enough time there, because I reckon he's cut those sausage curbs. So hopefully the game's not too stiff and doesn't give him a penalty. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple more guys jumping into the pits. We'll see if Porter and Cedar come into the pits as well. Because with how close those two were in quali, and the difference in race pace, it is quite plausible that Cedar's actually going for the long strat. As there we go, see Di Donato jump into the pits. So yeah, so Cedar could be going for the long strategy here without changing tyres and just going to go for a splash and dash of 10-15 litres towards the end. So we'll see if Porter's doing the same, or if he's going for the half and half strategy with the tyre change. So Di Donato spending again, a fair amount of time in the pits as well. Can't actually see how long these pit stops are. So yeah, over time stopped is 44 seconds and counting. So yeah, Chandler's was 34 seconds stopped. So that's a tyre change. Rogers, tyre change. Radecki, only 22 seconds. So possibly just filling up with fuel there. That doesn't seem like tyre change. Well, can't be, because tyre change is 30 seconds. Sorella jumping into the pits here. Yeah, so not sure. Maybe fixing some damage there, but that was a fairly long pit stop for for Di Donato. Yeah, 45 seconds stopped. So that's tyres and about 15 seconds worth of damage. So interesting how this is going to pan out. Sorella still in the pits as well. So we'll see where he pops out. I think it's going to be ahead of Chandler still. Oh no, sorry, no, it is going to be behind Chandler. Chandler is actually just behind the leading McLaren at this point in time, but I believe he is, well, he is a lap down. A 129.000 is his best lap at this point in time. That's pretty cool. Chandler currently 4/10 up on his best lap. I don't think that's 29 dead though. I believe that's probably the best lap that he's done in this stint. So we'll see what his pace is like. He might be able to catch Joeb still ahead. So it's just the top four that are yet to do their pit stop here. So we've got Porter, Cedar, Moss and Joeb still. The only ones that haven't pitted at this point in time. Everybody else has. So going to be quite interesting to see if the overcut that these guys are doing is going to be worth it in the long run, and whether they change tyres or not. So last lap a 29.2 for Chandler compared to Joeb Still's 1 minute 30.6. So about a second and a half he's taken out of his arrival ahead. Yeah, looking down the field, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot happening, unfortunately. It's the closest battle on track is Rogers and Sorella here. Just over a second between these guys. We'll see who comes out on top because they're both pretty evenly matched for time. For pace, sorry. That gap is closing. So Sorella has just come out of the pits. The last lap was a 2 minute 31, so this is his first flying lap. So tyres are still going to be a little not up to pressure. They'll be warm, but they won't be up to pressure. So this is definitely Rogers' chance to pounce. He's gained another 10th and a bit through that first chicane. As there we are, so T Murphy drive through. I'm going to assume that's for track limits. Yes, that's unfortunately the first one of the night. With 24 minutes remaining, that's a fair effort to get 35 minutes. So you see, wow, this is Rogers has taken chunks out of Sorella here. Oh, goes a touch deep into the chicane, final chicane, and just basically loses everything he gained on the exit there. So yeah, I reckon these guys are just going to be trading blows. As he closes back up again, so he's just not very strong through that final sector compared to as he goes wide in through turn 4. He's going to catch the gravel on the outside. That's going to ruin his run. I don't think there's a whole lot, as looks like. Yep, so Joeb still is into the pits, so we'll see where he comes out in relation to Chandler, Sorella and Rogers. I think he's going to come out behind Rogers where he was earlier, unless he doesn't take tyres. So this is going to be quite interesting. So yeah, I think he's going to come out between Rogers and Radecki here. Depending on how long he's up in the air. because he possibly has some damage. We'll see how he goes. So yep, so he's dropped back behind Rogers, and he's still, so yep, he's just been put down there. I don't think he's going to lose the place to Radecki, but no, it's going to be about 15 seconds, I think, on exit. So yeah, so into P7 for Duebstal, so where he started, where he entered the pits in, sorry. So hasn't lost any there. Kurt Moss into the pits. Okay. So this is interesting. So coming in with 20 minutes to go, I can't imagine that he's... Yeah, time stop 13 seconds. So he's doing it on one set of tyres as well. So we'll see where he comes out. Also, just looking here, the biggest gainers today, Sorella up 7 positions, started in P12, is currently P5, and Radecki started P16, is currently P8, so up 8 positions. So they're your biggest gainers for tonight. The biggest losers, Stevens and Nikon, both have lost 2 positions. I reckon there's probably some that have lost some more, but unfortunately they've quit, so I cannot see their statistics. So Kurt holds P3. Chandler 25 seconds behind, so that we'll see what Chandler can do here. So obviously Moss's tyres are going to continue to degrade, whereas Chandler's got those brand new tyres. I don't think he can make up 24 seconds though. But yeah, we'll see what's going on. So Rogers, a little bit behind, Rogers just a bit behind Sorella here. See, Stevens and Molino also fairly close as well. Oh no, that gap pushes back out to 1.7 seconds as he gets pretty poor run out the final corner. This is the closest the gap has been. I believe 98. So yes, Cedar is coming into the pit, so we'll see if he's going to take tyres or not. I can't imagine he would with only 20 minutes to go. Oh wow, that's a very damaged Mercedes there. That is not looking too good. Yeah, that's I think that's his 5th pit stop for Todd Murphy. Unfortunately, really not gelling. I think he might have thrown in the towel there. Just doesn't brake for the pit entry, or just forgets to. So yeah, I can't imagine he's going to be doing a whole lot more tonight. No, he doesn't look very happy with himself. So we'll go back to Sorella and Rogers, and just watch this battle and how it continues on. So yeah, so Cedar is out the pits. 909 has a yellow flag. That's Nikon. Let's have a look what's happened there. Oh, that's the leader. Oh no, I think Cedar might inherit the lead of this race. He's 100% will. He was only about 6 seconds behind. That's definitely a big time loss there. I'll go back again and we'll get a better replay of what happened there. But that's let's see what's happened there. Oh, okay. It looks like Nikon just lost it on his own. And it's taken out the leader as well. So yeah. So Cedar was 39 seconds in the pit. Time stop 5 seconds. So yeah, Cedar definitely just taking a splash and dash there. Time in the pit 39 seconds, and he's currently only 36 seconds behind Porter. So once Porter goes for his pit stop, he's going to come out about 3 seconds behind Cedar. We'll see what he can do there, because it's gonna come down to the wire with about 15 minutes to go, I reckon. Before. Oh no, but he's got damage as well. No, I think Cedar's going to run away with this. He's going to be about 10-20 seconds ahead. after the pit stop. That's heartbreak for Porter. As we see Stevens and Molino here. Molino going for the dive. Runs deep. Oh, I think there might have been a touch of contact there. But he does stay ahead. And makes the move, gets the move done on Molino. Those guys are in the pits. So we'll see if Molino has a reply here for Stevens' move, because he's hasn't dropped off the back just yet. So going back, Chandler has gained about a second on Moss, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Just under 17 minutes left in this race. And yeah, 23 seconds the gap to Moss. I don't think he's going to be able to get a podium here, unfortunately. Is Chandler. Yeah, so Stevens has just pulled away. 1.2 seconds clear in just that first sector there on Molino behind. So Porter's still doing 28.8s. So I don't think the damage has affected him too much. So he might actually just like not fix the damage. 5/10 faster still of Cedar behind, but it was invalid. So he possibly could have actually cut the chicane and gained time. Although unlikely, it is possible. But yeah, we'll just stay on board with Porter here. We'll just see when he's going to pit. Because yeah, he has opened up the gap about another second-ish, 0.6 to a second on Cedar behind. It's still going to be very close on pit exit. So he does a 28.9. So still fairly good pace. So it doesn't look like that damage has affected him too much. But again, as I was saying, like, it's going to be very, very interesting to see where he pops out in relation to Cedar after his scheduled pit stop, because I believe he is the only one that has not pitted yet. So 29.3 for the last lap for Cedar there. So even with the damage, Porter's still pulling away. Gap almost up to 38 seconds. And remember, the pit stop for Cedar took 39 seconds. So at this point, he's going to come out, you know, barely ahead if Porter is to pit in the next lap or two. There it is. So he jumps into the pit lane, alright. So the number 98 is coming through the second chicane right now. So we'll see. So this is Cedar here, coming into the hairpin. Porter still actually hasn't stopped just yet. So there we are. So he stopped. He's going to be up on the jacks as Cedar comes through the final chicane here, coming across the line. Porter is moving again. A bit of a burnout across the line. And he's going to come out after turn 2. So it's going to be very, very close. I think Cedar is going to inherit the lead. Yep. So Cedar up into P1 and by a fair margin as well. About 7 seconds. So it's actually coming through, well, just finishes coming through turn 3. Alright, this is going to be interesting because, like, Porter definitely has the pace still, as there's a yellow flag for Donato. So I think he just had a bit of a moment as the camera pans around. Yeah, a bit of a moment there at the hairpin. But this has made the race very, very spicy. So if we have a look. So yeah, so Porter was 10 seconds stopped, so he actually had to put in more fuel. So Cedar was running a higher fuel load to begin with, so he had to put in less at the pit stop. Has actually, yeah, so come out seven seconds ahead, but Porter's already making inroads. So yeah, that gap hovering around that 7 second mark, as we actually see Stevens has caught up to the back of Radecki here. So we'll see what he can do here. Managed to get that move done on Molino earlier into the hairpin. Mustang very good on the brakes though, but so is the Ferrari, so it's going to be interesting. He gets a good run at the double right-hander. I don't think it's going to be enough. The Mustang too quick on the straight there, so that's to back out. He doesn't go a touch deep, so he could get the run here into the final chicane, but just bogs down on the accelerator. Possibly running a fairly high TC there. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets past the Mustang, because the Mustang not very easy to get past. Like, it's not great in the corners, but it's good on the brakes and it's good on the straights. So, unless they make a mistake, it's really, there's not a whole lot of ways to sort of, force your way past or use your advantages. So keep keen eyes on this battle. The gap between Cedar and Porter has opened up to, well, he was saying 7.4, now down to 6.7. So I think there's a timing sheet's playing a little bit of silly buggers with me. And just, as we see, the Mustang there hits the gravel. I don't think it's going to be enough for the Ferrari here, but he might just show the nose. Yeah, gets in the mirrors and looks for a move and cuts the chicane. Gains an advantage. I hope he's going to get that position back. Yep, good man. And the Mustang almost just drives up the back of him. That's interesting. So we'll see how this goes. I feel as if Radecki could have, Stevens could have pulled that up. Just decided not to. Really good run through the second chicane here. I don't think he's gonna have anything into the final hairpin, or into the hairpin. Sorry, but that Mustang's just ridiculous in its mid-speed acceleration. It's absolutely insane, and just the torque it gets out the corners. Very infuriating to race against. So Porter 28.7 compared to Cedar's 29.2 that last lap. So with 9 minutes to go, I think it's been a little bit of too late for Porter to get back the lead, but you can't say anything until it's over. As Murphy decides to come back out. So we see they're side by side here, Stevens and Radecki. Ferrari trying around the outside. Oh, this is gonna be scary. Turn 4, not really a corner you want to go side by side through. Oh, I reckon if he could have held that. And Molino gets a massive run. Gains about 8/10 on both of these guys. Just then, so it's becoming a good three-way battle here in the last 10 or so minutes. So we'll see again here as Cedar crosses the line with a 29.4 and Porter 29.3. So barely a tenth faster than Cedar. So yeah, we'll keep monitoring that. Molino jumped off the back of these two guys again. Stevens showing the nose once again. He actually does get the Mustang to make a mistake, but I just don't think he's gonna. Yeah, just doesn't have the legs. Just that initial acceleration. The Mustang just has so much torque down low. It's not funny. It's going to be quite a frustrating battle for Stevens because I'm pretty sure he's faster. He just can't do a whole lot. And now he's got Molino for company as well behind. So we'll see how this battle develops. Could be quite interesting. As the 888 is had a white flag again, so he's going slow. So possibly another incident for him. He's just not. Yeah, it looks like he's coming straight into the pit lane. He's just not having a good time in that the AMG tonight. Oh! As Stevens kind of looks down the inside, it might have been a netcode there. It looked like they touched on my screen. As he's actually got the run here, but he's going to be on the outside for the first bit of the chicane. Let's see how this pans out. I can't say I've got high hopes, but clears him under braking and goes through. So Stevens is through. Let's see what Molino can do, because he's got the run as well. Is he going to try and dive into the second chicane here? He is. He just pulls it up in time. And Radecki unfortunately loses 2 positions in 2 corners there. And is relegated down to P10. So that's some pretty good driving from the 2 Ferraris they've just gone through. Stevens just set up that move, and the Molino's just sort of picked up the pieces there. And just gets a poor run out the hairpin as well, and the Mustang said hello. And he's looking for something here. So I'm not sure who that is behind, but I don't think that's for position. Looks like the number 17. So that's Chandler coming through to unlap him, to lap these guys. And Joe Webb's still there. So that's the second drive through for track limits tonight. Unfortunately. So that's going to put him down a little while. He might just come out in front of Stevens, because a drive through is about 35 seconds. Judging by these guys, and he is 36 seconds ahead of Stevens. So this could actually be a very good battle towards the end. Because I hear a bit of sand there, so I think Molino ahead just clips the grass. Chandler just clips the grass there. So yeah, Porter also, in the meantime, Porter has not actually made much inroad into Cedar. Still about 6 seconds behind, but we'll see where Joeb still comes out in terms of Stevens. So as I was saying, about 35 seconds drive through is here. Stevens at this point in time just coming through the hairpin now, so still got 2 corners to navigate, and Joeb still about halfway through or towards the end of his drive through here. Oh, I think you forgot. And Di Donato in the number 4 McLaren has also got a drive through, so that is 3 for the night. Again, I assume for track limits. I can't imagine you get it for much else. So yeah, so Jeb's still going to come out barely a second and a half, a second actually, in front of Stevens here, and he's also got to get back up to racing pace. In the last 4 minutes, we could see a change of position for P7 here. Stevens possibly could actually get the could get Joeb still here, just because that unfortunate drive through in the last 5 minutes. That's quite stiff. So it's almost a bit of feeling of deja vu as we saw these guys battle it out earlier in the race with about 5 minutes into the race, and now with 5 minutes left, these guys are going to be going at it again. So Porter back into the 28.7 his last lap compared to Cedar's 29.2. Gap is now down to 5 seconds. So one mild mistake from Cedar could see Porter just get back onto the get back onto the back of him. We could see a battle for the lead once again. And Di Donato's got to stop and go 30, so I have a feeling he's sped on the pit entry. That's heartbreak. As we've actually had 5 drivers drop out of this race. Only 13 remain for the last 3 minutes here, so... Gap between Cedar and Porter, 4.5 seconds. So Porter definitely has the pace on Cedar. We'll see if it's enough. There's maybe 3 laps left, depending on if Cedar is on track. Yeah, I think... It might... Yeah, I think there's going to be... Sorry, 2 laps left. 28. No, I think there's going to be just going to be 3 laps left in this race. So we'll see. Stevens not really closing that gap to Webster in front. Has stayed about that second mark. It is down now to 8/10. Has jumped back up to a second. So these guys are pretty evenly matched. Stevens slightly quicker on paper, about 3/10 quicker on his personal best in the race. So Joeb still 29.7 last lap. Stevens 130.1. So he's actually lost 4/10 in that lap. So Joeb still might actually hold on here. As yeah, it's going to be close, but I reckon there might be 2 more laps. We'll see. We'll see what when Cedar comes across the line. It's going to be very close. I don't think he's going to get to the line in 3 seconds. So I think this is going to be the last lap. Yes, this is going to be the last lap of the race. I don't think Porter's going to catch the 4 seconds in this last lap. I don't want to commentate to curse him either, but I don't think he's going to gain the last 4 seconds. So all Cedar has to do here is just keep it clean, and he's got a win under his belt. Stevens 5/10 behind Joeb still. This is gonna be interesting. He's got 1 more lap to get it done. To try and fight for P7 here. Joeb still didn't look like he had the best of laps. Stevens might just be pushing a bit too hard. And yeah, just loses the touch. So 130.3 for Joeb still, 129.7, but both invalid. So possibly track limits could come into this. It'd be pretty stiff to get a drive through on the last lap, but it has happened. So we jump across to Lucas Cedar in the 98 Porsche. Comes across to take a well-earned victory. As we see Porter, so 3.2 seconds the gap in the end there. So yeah, 5/10 quicker in that last lap. So Porter comes across for P2. As we just jump back on board with Joeb still and Stevens. He's just dropped back. Oh no, and he spins on the final lap. This is going to allow Molino to catch up, I reckon. See, Molino he's gaining. He's 2 seconds behind and gaining. He's just there in the back of shot. So this could be quite interesting. Molino could get P8 here. As Kurt Moss comes across the line to take a well-earned P3 as well. Molino just trying to show the nose. Isn't going to be able to do much. He's just going to have to go for a better exit here and a drag race out the line. No, I reckon Stevens is going to hold on to P8 here as they both come across the line. And Radecki just in the background there comes across to round out the top 10. And we just got Sorella in the number 38 Ferrari just rounding the final corner now to take P5. So there we go. So Sorella, the biggest gainer, up 7 positions, started P12 and finished P5. So an awesome effort for him. My driver of the day, I reckon. Unfortunate for Porter to lose the win there. Definitely deserved it. But Cedar comes through to take the win. Just shows just being consistent. Unfortunately, Porter's wasn't really his mistake. But just staying within striking distance. Yeah. Awesome race tonight. Shame there wasn't a bit of weather. I think that would have really spiced things up. But yeah, awesome job to the top three, to Cedar, Porter, and Moss, for their podium positions. Chandler probably had the pace for the podium, but unfortunately just wasn't. There was no mistakes up ahead. Finishes 20 seconds off. Sorella, as I said, my driver of the day. Very clean, consistent racing from himself. Didn't make any mistakes. Just picked up the pieces of others. That's all you really need to do. Sometimes just to get a good result. Anyway, it was great to have you guys on board tonight. That was round 3 at Zolder for the Slipstream International Racing Continental Cup. That's all for me. There'll be another round next week, and these drivers will get to battle it out once again for their bragging rights. That's been me, Breno Ellis. Good night.